listening to theoutdoorstation.co.uk. It's a podcast. It's a magazine. No, it's a podzine.
Hi everybody once again and welcome to this week's Podzine, dated the 10th of March 08. Hi everybody and welcome once again to our weekly show where we try and touch base with everybody interested in the outdoors world via the medium of podcasts. Podcasts to inform, inspire, entertain and encourage people to enjoy a healthy outdoor lifestyle. And so, thank you very much for joining me. Thanks for listening and thanks also for the feedback I've been getting from people since we started our weekly shows last week. Well, this is a packed programme. We've got plenty to talk about this week. It's a real smorgasbord of content. Today we're talking tarps, tripods and rods. Well, almost. Tarps, tripods and fishing rods. Well, it's fishing, but it just happened to rhyme, so it worked for me. So we'll be doing that. We've also got some competition winners to announce who have won pairs of tickets to the forthcoming outdoors show at the NEC next weekend. A continuation of that competition to win some more tickets. And what else we're going to do? We'll have a look at the ever-growing diary page, which is growing. And please, by all means, if you have any events or any social gatherings where you want people to come along, open to members of the public, as it were, do drop me a line at info@theoutdoorstation.co.uk. And in fact, there's a telephone number, and the telephone number just records a message, so please use that if you so desire. Put it into your mobile phone or whatever. That's 020-8133-9434. But we'll drop those details into the website and also into the show notes. Now, everybody we interview in the programme or any content details can be found on the website, which of course is theoutdoorstation.co.uk, and we try and link back to everything there. So if you can't make notes or miss some detail, then that's the place to go. So let's get on with the show because, as I say, we've got a fair amount to get through. So first of all, we're going to go back to Stoneleigh, to the kayak expo that happened a couple of months ago now, a month or so ago, back in Stoneleigh, and it was here that there was a whole range of people interested in the paddling activities. Now, one of the stands that sort of crosses over a bit on the paddling front is True North Outdoor. Jed Yarnold there is a very experienced outdoors person. And he's had a lot of experiences that he's bringing to the marketplace, as it were, not only from a kayaking or canoeing experience, which we talked to him about on a later show, but also his tarps. He actually sells two types of tarps. And was doing a very, very popular talk at the show all about tarpoligy. So I thought I'd fire off by asking Jed, first of all, exactly what tarpoligy is all about.
Well, tarpoligy is a homemade word, along with the origami of tarp, highly pretentious stuff for about some really low-tech skills on how to make shelters using tarpaulins. So everything from military bashers through builders' tarpaulins to the sort of thing that Backpacking Light use or True North Outdoor use. Some of them lighter weight, some of them heavier weight. And really the sort of expertise that people need to actually make themselves an effective shelter out in the wilds.
So where do you think all this interest has come from in tarps? It seems to be all of a sudden almost.
I think it's the idea that people used to once upon a time have to go into the little orange kennel that was their A-frame tent, and they would sit for 12 hours in the rain. They suddenly realised that it was quite possible to rig a shelter outdoors where they can sit and enjoy the view, cook their meal and that sort of thing. And if they were brave enough, rig it up on a couple of paddles or trekking poles and be quite comfortable sitting outside under this huge umbrella, really.
Have you found, from the courses that you've run and the explanations you've given and the tarps that you've sold, that people are rediscovering the joy of learning how to erect a shelter that's fairly flexible, and also learning the knots and the whole sort of simplicity of it all?
Absolutely. And I think there's been various television programs. People like Ray Mears have really captured the imagination of folks and realised that it's all actually quite achievable without too much high-tech stuff.
There seems to be more interest these days in sort of the bushcraft canoeing arena, as people understand it's actually not military based, but actually it's for everybody.
I think that's right, and I think there's a great difference between military survival, which would be escape and evasion, resistance to interrogation and that sort of thing, and actually wilderness living. And wilderness living differs in that you will take equipment with you, you will make yourself comfortable, but the idea is if you know a lot, then you'll carry less kit.
And of course it's very low impact on the environment, isn't it?
It certainly is, because you'll take the stuff with you and you should leave no traces.
Well, you do two tarps, and you've got a little one and a big one, which is a very technical name for them. Tell me a bit about the actual products themselves.
Well, they're ripstop polyester, polyurethane coated, so they're quite a big step up from the builder's tarpaulin, which rustles and wears out fairly quickly. The small one, I would say, is perfect for the solo traveller or a tandem pair who want somewhere which they can sleep under but have enough room to faff about with their kit, cook a big meal, and basically sit and chill round a fire. The big tarp I consider more to be a family tarpaulin, the sort of thing you'd use as a group shelter on an expedition.
What sort of size are we talking about?
Well, for the large one, it's 4.5 metres by 3 metres, and the small one is 3 metres long by 2.4 metres.
And have you found a lot of interest in the products here at the Canoe Expo?
Yes, I have actually, and spent quite a lot of time talking to folks about how to use it and given them a handout on how to erect the tarp and various ways of doing it. And funnily enough, giving the tarpology talk yesterday, and again this afternoon at 2 o'clock, there were hundreds of people there, clambering in and quite happy to sort of play with hairy string and make knots and that sort of thing. And I was quite encouraged by the enthusiasm which all and sundry showed for the black art of origami of tarp. Tarpology, perhaps. Yeah.
Well, why do you think that is? Because, I mean, the most open canoes will take, obviously, a reasonable size load, so they can take tents as well as sea kayaks. Do people want to sort of commune with nature more, do you think?
I think most people will end up taking their sleeping accommodation with them. So a bug-proof, rain-proof, waterproof from the ground up sort of place where they're going to sleep. They'll probably still take that, but rather than having that as the only place to go, the tarpaulin rigged up under the trees high so people can stand up underneath it, ends up as the social centre for the evening. In the military we used to refer to it as a chunter basher, so we'd sit around and talk absolute rubbish, trying to think of words without saying the B word there.
Just chunter underneath it.
Just chunter underneath it, yes.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, and how's this show? Because the show's now here at the first time at Stoneleigh. Has it been popular for you?
It's been very popular, and I think Brookbank have done a fantastic job. They've brought a lot of traders together. There's a spirit of cooperation amongst everybody, and it's gone down really well. Very impressed with the service provided by the organisers. Nothing is too much trouble, from IT equipment to actually helping unload my car, so that's really good.
That's a fairly rare experience, isn't it?
Yes, usually the sort of mile-and-a-half trek from the NEC car park to some distant hall, which you can see on the skyline. That's the usual state of affairs, but actually it's been very different here at Stoneleigh.
Well, I wish you well for your next talk, and I hope you have just as many people attending, playing with their bits of string.
Yes, thanks very much indeed. Cheers, Bob.
The exciting world of tarpology. Thanks very much indeed, Jed, for that. That very interesting and very enthusiastic character. So you can see more details on Jed's website, which of course is truenorthoutdoor.co.uk, and there'll be links to it in the show notes. Now, one type of material that has probably got into most outdoor activities is carbon fibre. I can't think of one area of outdoor interest where carbon fibre hasn't had an influence. And yet, surprisingly, one particular interest where it has been thin on the ground, shall we say, has been the photographic industry. Now, recently I went up to the Focus show at the NEC and spoke to Vic Soloman, who's the product manager for Manfrotto. Manfrotto make really high quality, superb products, tripods for the photographic and video industry. And they were launching to the public for the first time their new range of carbon fibre tripods. So I asked Vic to explain to me more details about them and what we can expect to see in the shops in the next 12 months.
The big exciting thing for us is the new carbon fibre tripods. We have a range of 3 products in the 190 family. 190 family traditionally is a small, lightweight tripod that's ideal for travelling, backpacking and an outdoor use. We've made them carbon fibre, so it's even better. So they fold down very small, they stand up to a height that's usable for even myself, who's 6'1", and you can carry them anywhere.
Excellent. Okay, well, we've got the 3 of the main products in front of us here. And now, the first thing to remind people is that obviously the Manfrotto tripods don't come with heads, and we'll talk about the actual type of head a bit later on. But just let's talk about the sort of the first one in the range there, if you would, please.
Okay, the 190 CX3 is the entry level. Now, what you have here is a tripod that has a fixed centre column. The centre column you can raise and lower, and if you want to get down to very low levels, with all of the 190 range of products, you can splay the legs out to get you down to 10 or 11 centimetres from the ground. Now, because the centre column has to be taken out, the centre column itself is about a foot long. You can take the bottom off of that column, and once you take the column out, you can replace that bottom part and you use that as your centre column. So you get the minimum the height from the floor that you can. Your ball and socket or whatever head it is you have then goes on top of that, and you can get down and do wildlife, flowers, whatever it is you're shooting.
Okay, and what sort of weight are we talking about and compact size on that particular tripod?
Okay, the CX3, when it's closed, it measures 55 centimetres. You can extend it up to 146. It will take a camera and head combination of up to about 5 kilos, and the tripod itself weighs 1.32 kilos.
And so I'm right in thinking that the legs are carbon fibre, but the central columns are aluminium, but the legs actually will swivel out and come around completely to horizontal.
That's correct, yes.
Okay. And that's a 3-leg section on that one.
Yeah.
Anything else on that one before we move up to the next one?
No, and that covers everything on there. So you've got the 3-leg sections. You can use it, carry it anywhere you like. Very lightweight, very sturdy tripod.
Okay, and what's this additional accessory here on the leg there?
With tripods, with the kind of systems that we use to leg lock, sometimes over a period of time that lock can become a bit loose. Now it is a traditional nut and bolt system, but the chances of you having a socket set with you when you're out in the field are very minimal. So we put a little bit like a small socket set on the leg that you can detach, and if you do find that the leg's getting a bit loose, you can just tighten that up while you're out in the field.
Oh, useful, very useful. So taking a step up then.
Okay, the next one up in the range is the 190 CX Pro 3. Now, the big difference between the CX3 and the Pro series is that centre column. With the CX3, I said you had to remove the centre column totally, detach an adapter on the bottom of it to do the low-level work. What that always means is you've got a centre column somewhere that you've got to hold and remember to pick up when you move on. With the Pro series, the centre column can be adapted very quickly so that it's horizontal across the top of the tripod.
Right.
Now that allows you to get very low without removing the centre column totally. But also when you're doing macro work, you don't want to have the legs in the way. If you've got the tripod head immediately above the tripod, it can sometimes not get you the angle you want. So you can extend the whole centre column out to the side of the tripod, so you could be above the flower maybe, or if you're on a balcony where the legs can only obviously go up to the side of the railing, you can then hang the camera a foot further on so you can get some landscape views maybe that you couldn't normally capture.
Right, okay, and I presume all of them have got the same clasping mechanism inside the actual legs themselves to give them all the same rigidity and expanding so it locks nice and tight.
They have indeed, yes. So again, the CX Pro 3, the 3 signifies that it's a 3-leg section tripod, as was the CX3. But they all have that same locking mechanism, which is very tough, very reliable. It's been developed over the years that we've been making tripods, and now even with this one with 5 kilos on there, that leg lock isn't going to give way on you.
Right, okay. And again, it's a ratchet system as regards at the top of the head there, so the 3 legs can spread completely and lock all the way out.
Yes, you can really sort of spread those legs out, drop the tripod down to the floor level, but because the centre column hasn't got to be released, you can then get in right into the action or whatever it is you're filming.
Okay. Now the next one I see has got 4 sections to the leg. That obviously must make it more compact when it actually crunches down.
That's right. You can now go down to 50 centimetres. So again, if you're backpacking, travelling, it'll fit in the suitcase, in a rucksack, and you can take it even more places. You don't suffer from anything in rigidity. You don't lose anything at all. All you've lost is 8 centimetres off of the compact length. when you extend it, it's exactly the same height as the CX Pro 3, so it goes to the 146 centimetres. It's just the pack down size that's been improved.
Okay, and they both take the same weight of camera as well. They take a maximum load of 5K.
They do indeed. The only thing with the Pro 4 is it's slightly heavier because we've had to obviously add extra leg locks in for that fourth section, but it's not added a great deal of weight at all.
Lovely. Okay, well, before we move on to the actual heads, can you just give us the idea of the price point and where these three products are going to be this year? Certainly.
If we start with the first tripod we talked about, the 190 CX3, that has a recommended retail price of $199.95. Going up to the 190 CX Pro 3, the three-leg section, you're then moving up to $239.95, and the CX Pro 4 is $249.95.
Okay, now the sort of listeners that we have obviously are outdoors people that get out and about on the hills and kayaking and so on. What sort of head would you say was the right sort of head to go with these products, and can we just go and have a look at them?
Certainly. When we look at the heads, there are a few factors to take into account. If you're doing landscape work, for example, then personally I'd use a three-way head. And with a three-way head you have three handles. One will control your panoramic movement, then you've got your tilt, and then you've got the portrait landscape option. The reason that I use a three-way head when I'm doing landscape work is because the head makes you physically slow down. You have to set things up and be a bit more fine-tuned with it. Your whole thought process slows down, and actually you start to notice things in the frame that ordinarily, if you're in a hurry, you wouldn't look at. So your composition will be improved tenfold. So you might find there is maybe a branch there or a sign that you've not noticed before, but because you've got the time to take, you do take that time, and your pictures will improve greatly.
Okay.
So the three-way head system I would use normally for my landscape work or any studio work that I do. If I'm using it for sport, so kayaking or something like that, or motor racing, if I'm on holiday and there's an event going on, I would tend to use a ball and socket head. And because of the things that I'm photographing, the essence there is speed, and the ball and socket head is that bit quicker. It's normally one control, and from that loosening of that control, you can control every direction, vertical, horizontal, portrait, landscape, all in one movement. But there are two systems with the ball and socket heads. There's what we call hydrostatic, and then the traditional ball and socket type. With the hydrostatic, it's using an oil chamber, which applies it's not friction, it applies pressure around the ball joint. And what happens there is you can set a tension up where the camera weight with lens weight can be held by the ball and socket head. And you could then check if it's a pack shot you're doing or a scenery, family maybe, and you're trying to get everybody in the shot. You can then adjust the view that you're looking at without the camera just completely flopping down and collapsing. And when you come back to the tripod, you've still got the movement to recompose the shot. You can lock the tripod head in and take the shot. With a traditional ball and socket head, because it's all on one movement, when you release that, everything goes totally loose. Right. So you've got to remember to keep hold of that head when you release that, otherwise your camera will just flop forward and your composition is ruined.
Okay. And the different technologies obviously come at a different price, I guess.
Yes, they do. If we're looking at the ball and sockets initially, a good ball and socket head for the tripods, the 190 series, you don't want something that's too big. However, what people tend to do is go undergun, so they'll go for the cheapest ball and socket head they can find, purely because they don't understand. And what they always say to me is, I can really tighten this up and it won't move. But that will only work for a certain period of time. If you put anything under too much pressure, eventually it's going to give. So you may get 5 or 6 months use out of it, and then that mechanism is not going to tighten up anymore. So for one of those tripods, I personally would go for a Manfrotto 488 head, which is manly enough to take a semi-professional or even a professional camera if you wanted to push it that far. It's not so heavy that it's going to affect the balance of the tripod. The tripod legs will still take the weight totally. The head itself would add just over 11 centimetres height to the tripod, and that would come in at a price of about $64.95.
If I can just interrupt you there, that's obviously got a standard thread on it, but I understand you can also get a quick release plate for people who want to have a quick release plate. Is that right?
Yes, the ball and socket heads, just like the three-way heads, give you the option of a fixed or a quick release. Now, if you wanted to go for a quick release option of a similar ball and socket head, you'd be looking at $74.95. So you're only looking at £10 difference to get the quick release plate, and that really does add some flexibility and speed to your operation. Because quite often you'll have, husband and wife, partners out, friends out, and they only take one tripod. So you leave a quick release plate on each camera, and anyone can use the tripod when they like then.
Right. Okay. And the price points on the others?
If we look at the hydrostatic heads, you do go up to just over the £200 mark. So the one, the fixed head rather than the quick release is about 200. If you add the quick release plate, then you go to about 209 or 220, depending on which mechanism we go for. But they do carry a much heavier capacity. The 488 ball and socket I mentioned will take a load of up to about 8 kilos, which is quite a lot of equipment. But if you've got large format cameras or some of the top professional cameras with big lenses, then you'd need to go up to one of the bigger hydrostatics, because they take up to 16 kilos. And you're just securing that knowledge that it's going to take the weight. You don't want thousands of pounds worth of camera falling forward and then dropping off the tripod, so you need to take a head that will take that weight. We mentioned earlier the other head, the three-way head that I would use for landscape work, and there are a couple of those in the range, and again they come with quick release or standard options. A really good quick release system would be on the 804 RC2. Now that's a head that will take up to 4 kilos, so for most people that are walking with a camera, they wouldn't be having a camera lens combination that's heavier than that, I guess. It is a three-way head, it has a quick release, and you're looking at a retail price of $59.95, so it's not overly expensive, but it would make a very balanced system with those 190 tripods, because it's quite small, it's compact and light, as are the tripods. You don't want to have a small tripod with a very, very big heavy head, because it would just be too top heavy.
I'm presuming as well, obviously the Manfrotto range is completely interchangeable, so if people are already one of your customers and they already have a head, it will actually fit the new model that's come out if they wanted to go for the carbon fibre legs.
That's correct. We've stayed with the same system since we started the Manfrotto product range, and basically with the heads themselves, they would take either the 3/8 or the quarter-inch system. So for medium format or domestic SLR cameras, the head is already geared to take either system. And the tripods themselves have a standard thread that all of our heads, whether we have panoramic heads, which again for a landscape, a 360-degree view, through to the ball and socket heads or the three-way heads, they were all exactly the same thread, and they will fit any monopod or tripod that we've ever made.
And what are you expecting as regards to the actual carbon fibre series? Has the take-up been good at the show?
Yeah, the interest has been really great. Unfortunately, we were unable to get the tripods here for the first minute of the show opening, but everybody's been asking about them because we've advertised them for about a week on the website, and the awareness is amazing. Everybody's into lightweight tripods that are secure, and they're very strong, they hold the weight. And carbon fibre is really a product that people hadn't considered greatly, because aluminium is what we're all used to. But when we actually got the tripods out, we're placing orders already, and when the tripods themselves today are not available in the shops, it's about 2 weeks before the first delivery comes in, and the retailers here in the halls are already taking great orders for them. So we've got high hopes.
So what's happening soon in the great outdoors? The Podzine Diary.
Yes, once again we'll have a look at the Podzine Diary, which you can be found in hard copy over at the Outdoors Station on the What's On Diary page, which is what I'm looking at the moment. So if you're driving along, I shall tell you a bit about what's coming over the next few weeks. We, of course, have got the Outdoor Show at the NEC this coming weekend, and as I say, there's some more tickets to be won for that later on in the show. I mentioned Paddlefest last week. We've also got various bushcraft meetings towards the end of March in West Wales, Cornwall, Middlewood, and we've started the sort of guided walk season, really. 30th March, there's a guided walk around the Yorkshire Dales National Park. Moving into April, let's have a quick scan through April. May is incredibly busy, so I won't mention that this time round, but as we get closer to it, there's too much to choose from. But in April, we've got the Highlander Mountain Marathon taking place on the 5th, 6th of April. The website details there. It's probably too late to enter now, but certainly one for perhaps next year. And then we start the various walks. There's the Four Inns Walk in Derbyshire, which is a challenge set by the Derbyshire Scout Association of teams of 3 and 4 to walk over 65 kilometres of the Peak District. Same weekend we've got the Allendale Challenge up in Hexham, which is a 25-mile fundraising event to raise funds for the North of Tyne Search and Rescue Team. Again, details are on the website and the link straight to the page. And then there's a beautiful one here which would be fantastic, a week of fully guided walks across Islay, Jura and Colonsay. That's the 12th to the 18th of April. Again, details are on the diary page. But that'd be one absolute fabulous one if the weather, if you catch the weather right. And then you're into the sort of mainline walking festivals, I suppose. 19th to the 27th of April, the Peak District Walking Festival starts. 9 days of walking with varied programmes. 20th of April, guided walks, Yorkshire Dales National Park. And, of course, the 24th of April, a date which is imprinted, or should be imprinted in our minds, the 75th anniversary of the Kinder Scout Trespass. And I wonder if anything else is going to be going on that day, because there's an awful lot of information being and comments being bandied about the various forums and sites at the moment about the freedom of access and right to roam in the UK, to bring it in line with Scotland, who are enlightened when it comes to that sort of thing. And certainly if you type in now freedom or right to roam into any of the search engines, I believe the petition is still live on Downing Street, and you can sign that and join up. But there's plenty of information there, far more than I can go into here, so do have a look for that. So that's pretty well the diary. Going back to the kayak show. One thing that did strike me, being like most people, sort of interested in various aspects of the outdoors, is that kayaking would perform and act as a very good platform from which to fish, particularly offshore. Now, I met Kevin Ashton, who runs a website called northwaleskayakfishing.co.uk, and it's an advisory website, really, where people who might be interested in using a kayak, sea kayak, or one of the sit-on-top kayaks, as a fishing platform, and some of the things they might have to consider. And certainly had an interesting chat with Kevin, and who explained in more detail exactly why the website was set up and what people can expect to get from it.
The information on the website is all for beginners. It's about trying to get people onto the right track, so people are not going out basically buying a kayak and just going out to sea and getting themselves into trouble.
That's probably easily done, isn't it?
It's so easily done. There's, like we say, there's that many people who are selling these kayaks now, and a lot of people do not give any safety information about them. Our website offers that information and tries to put people onto the first foot of the ladder, so to speak, as going in the right direction.
Yeah. I mean, one of the attractions about a sea kayak, or a kayak generally, but certainly a sea kayak, is the fact that you can actually get offshore a bit, take your fishing equipment with you, and search for your supper, sort of thing. But obviously, there's more to it than that.
These are sit-on tops, so they're a lot more easier to self-rescue than what they are with your normal sea kayakers. They're also a lot more stable. We find out from our experience that it's the shore fishermen now who are in their sort of late 30s, early 40s, who have shore fished all their lives, who have seen a new edge to fishing and thought, I'd like to have a go at that. And they're the people who are coming on now and trying to sea fishing off sit-on tops, and it is fast becoming very, very popular in this country.
So your website is northwaleskayakfishing.co.uk, and you've got a forum and quite a few members there that can give advice. Now, I presume there's advice on obviously safety and the legality of certain things, as well as practicalities regards fishing rods and sea anchors and that sort of thing.
There's all sorts of information on there. The legal side of it is that none of us are instructors. We're just offering the information based on our experience over the years that we've been kayak fishing off these sit-on tops. Information given by other members. Our forum has been going now for roughly about 14 months, and it was only 3 of us who started it. And we've now got over 400 members, so that just goes to show how popular this sport is fast becoming. And there's a lot of people out there with a lot of information and are willing to share it with others, and that's what the forum's all about, is sharing the information. Not just our forum, but other forums. There is other forums in the country, and anybody who's getting into this sport wants to try and join one of these forums, because all forums, there's a wealth of information on them.
And they're also quite a friendly community as well, aren't they?
In my experience, all forums have worked together on all aspects: safety, fishing, everything. even to the knowledge of what kayak to go and buy for who. But your kayak is all down to your preference and what you're going to be using it for.
So tell me a bit. You're obviously a keen fisherman yourself. How different is the experience when you're actually fishing? What's the for a shore-based fisherman at the moment who's thinking that's quite an interesting idea? What's the pleasure aspect? How does it differ?
The big difference is with shore fishermen. I've been shore fishing for over 20 years around the Anglesey coast and North Wales, and over those 20 years I've seen a big influx in fishermen, shore fishermen. I've just got basically going to rock marks and people leaving their litter on those rock marks and whatever else they leave on those rock marks, we can't be too pleasant. And I just thought to myself, well, what a great way just to get away from all this. And invariably fishing is a solitary sport in most cases. This sport, kayak fishing, isn't so much solitary, but you might be only 20 yards away from the next guy, but you're still solitary. The experience of catching a fish off a kayak is much the same as catching it off a boat. The only difference is you're using a lot lighter gear, so you're giving the fish a lot more sport, you're giving yourself more sport, and you get a better feeling for fishing. That's the best thing about them. In my experience, it is.
In this day and age where technology forms a contributory part to all our activities with GPSs and so on, and you obviously have fish finders and that sort of thing now for boats, do you have the same sort of thing for kayaks?
Yeah, we use exactly the same as what any small boat would use, or any large boat would use, come to that. We all carry, well, the vast majority of us will carry a VHF radio. A lot of us do carry GPSs. We also carry fish finders of all descriptions. I actually carry a fish finder and a plotter on my kayak, which, alright, it's a big boy's toy, but it helps me to see what's on the bottom of the sea, for one, and I can return to the same location time and time again if that location is fishing good. And that is any advantage of finding fish in this day and age. Is an advantage. You need every advantage you can get.
So it's not really fair, all this technology hanging off the side of the kayak then. It's not fair on the fish.
To be honest, the fish finder doesn't find the fish. You've still got to go out there, you've still got to do the work to find the locations, to find the holes, to find the areas where the fish are, to find the right state of tides and all that lot. There's a lot of variations. People think if you get a fish finder, it's going to show them where the fish is. It's not going to find them where the fish is.
That's all right, then. So, do you? I mean, obviously you're in the North Wales area yourself. Are there different groups around the country that have got themselves together that sort of contribute to the forum, or is it predominantly the North Wales area?
No, we've got members off our forum who are members of other forums. There's members in the North East, up as far as Scotland. We've got members up in Scotland, down south, Cornwall. We've got members everywhere. And there is other forums and groups in the UK that are doing much the same to what we're doing. And it's only a matter of time before we do all start working together as one big unit. So it is fast becoming more of an industry sport, shall we say.
Okay, well, obviously you're welcome any new visitors to the forum, and I'll just give that address again. It's northwaleskayakfishing.co.uk. Thanks very much indeed for your time.
Yeah, thank you very much.
If you've got any news or events you'd like us to cover on the Podzine, then contact us at The Outdoor Station. The address is info@theoutdoorstation.co.uk.
Bringing you more about the outdoors world. Call our voicemail service now. 020 8133 9434.
Right, let's get on to competition time now, and we had loads of entries for to win one of 10 pairs. That's one pair of 10 pairs. Tickets to the outdoor show this weekend, and I've got another 10 to be won on exactly the same competition. So if you weren't successful this time round, I'm about to announce the winners once the machine's pulled out the names. Then please enter very, very quickly, because we'll be drawing the next batch out of the hat on Tuesday, tomorrow, to make sure they're in the post Tuesday night or last thing Wednesday to get to you in time for the show, and I'll announce the winners next week. Right, okay, so let's just finally kick the computer off and say, come on, give me the results. So the little randomizer. Fantastic technology, this is that. Oh, technology at its best. Oh, hey, and here we have the winners. In no particular order, we have... Oh, that's a nice note. Thank you very much, Adrian. Adrian Bell from Cheshire. Karen Smith from Leicestershire. Jonathan Hoare from London. Bob Martin from Milton Keynes. Don Ramsey from Halifax. John Witham from West Yorkshire. Barbara Shaw from Blackpool. Simon Collinge from Blackpool. Helen Kane from Stockport. And Rob Philpott from Stafford. And those prizes, those pairs of tickets, will be with you well, probably today or tomorrow, because I'll make sure I send those off at the weekend for you. So all being well, you'll have those. So congratulations if you see me at the show. Me, Andy, all Rose, we'll all be wearing black t-shirts with the Outdoor Station logo on. Do say hi, and if you can spare us a few words, that'd be great, because we'll put together your feedback and thoughts on the show itself. Right, well, on to this week's competition. It's for the same prize, as I say, pairs of tickets to the outdoor show. VIP tickets, I notice, when they arrive as well. I'm not too sure exactly where that gets you, but you never know, you might get a free drinky. Of course, the question is exactly the same as it was last week. What do the letters NEC stand for? What do the letters NEC stand for? Get your email entry straight to me if you can. The email address is theoutdoorshow@theoutdoorstation.co.uk. theoutdoorshow@theoutdoorstation.co.uk. And congratulations to those winners I've just announced. Best of luck to people entering this week. As I say, we'll hopefully see you there. And if we don't, have a great show, and perhaps drop me an email and let me think. Tell me what you thought of the event. So really, that's all that leaves me now, is to say a quick thank you to all the people on the show, to Jed Yarnold, Vic Soloman, and Kevin Ashton. Thanks very much indeed for your time, and to you, the listener, thank you for joining me, and I hope you've enjoyed the show one more time. So that's about it for this week. Looking forward to the show at the weekend. In the meantime, I'm going to try and get out and enjoy a little bit of this early springtime sunshine that seems to be hitting us at the moment. All the best now, folks. Have a good week, and I'll catch up with you next week. Bye for now.
This independent programme has been brought to you by theoutdoorstation.co.uk.